Hello, I'm Tim Beggins, president of Elk Trading Company. This week's top natural gas news. Number one, in the US, the Climate Prediction Center is calling for warmer temperatures along the southern border of the United States, which is a stark difference for today's colder temperatures. Number two, in Europe, Asian LNG cargoes are being redirected to Europe to cover cooler weather there and higher prices due to some outages. Number three, in South Korea, South Korea is considering buying more US oil and natural gas going forward. And number four, rest of the world, Argentina has achieved a budget surplus on higher grain and LNG exports. Let's take a look at the spot natural gas continuation chart. Prices are down to 379 and a half, down 15.3 cents or 3.82%. This is because warmer temperatures are now forecast for February. Let's take a look at that spot February contract. Right now, currently trading at 3802, down 14.6 cents. It is hovering around its daily pivot, which is 3.804. It is basically sitting, waiting to understand where the next weather forecasts are going to come out and how is that going to affect the February contract. As you can see, we've got further support at 365.70 and well below that at 340 and a half. Above the market, our first resistance is 4055 and then 420 and one tick. Let's take a look at that March contract, or excuse me, here's the Climate Prediction Center monthly temperature outlook for the United States, which was issued late last week. This shows that above normal temperatures are expected in the desert Southwest in February and pretty much above normal temperatures across from Texas all the way through the mid-Atlantic states and into parts of New England. This is putting pressure on the market as the market deals with high spot daily prices for January and the outlook for February. Let's take a look at the March contract. The March natural gas contract is doing much of the same. It broke below its daily pivot at 355 and is now hovering about its second daily pivot, which is at 3382. As you can see, once prices start to break down through the support level, it is looking to aim for the next pivot. And this is now acting as support. The market is still undecided. It's down, but not out. So be careful here. We've got some volatility ahead. Let's take a look at the weather. Looking at the global map, we could see that the really cold Arctic air continues to funnel from eastern Siberia across the Arctic down into Canada and across into the United States. This weather is bringing Arctic temperatures as far south as Texas and covering about three-quarters of the country here tomorrow. In fact, for Houston will be getting anywhere from 2 to 6 inches of snow, almost unheard of. So we'll look to see if this weather pattern continues. It looks to do so at least through the end of the month, where we continue to get successive shots of cold Arctic air. But then there is a pattern hint here that we may start to see some of this Arctic air start to dissipate. As you can see, about 2 weeks out, some of this cold Arctic air has now shifted further east toward Greenland and Scandinavia, as well as parts of Russia. And this may, in fact, give us the forecast for February, which will be warmer temperatures in the United States. Let's take a look at the United States. This cold shot of Arctic air is straight down across the Arctic into the Great Lakes and down into the mid-Atlantic states. As we scroll through the week, you could see we've got a good shot today all the way through the next few days, take a brief reprieve, and then we get another shot again next week, especially on Wednesday. This is more of a glancing blow against some of the Great Lakes and New England states, but it still brings cooler than normal temperatures across the eastern two-thirds of the country. And as you can see, here's the snow cover. There's plenty of snow across, at least from Kansas all the way through to Virginia and up through parts of mid-Atlantic states and New England. Let's take a look at the ice. The ice is nearly covering up Hudson Bay. As you can see, there's just a small portion left. Once this is completely full of ice, that cold Arctic air has a straight shot to skate across that surface and drop temperatures down into the Atlantic states without dissipation. Let's take a look at Europe. Europe still has some cooler temperatures now as well along the Alps and into parts of Turkey and Scandinavia. The cold Arctic air is still bottled up in Russia, but this continues at least through the next 10 to 14 days. Why are gas prices higher in Europe? There has been sanctions on Russian LNG tankers, and there has been a problem with some gas out of Azerbaijan. Let's take a look at Asia. Asia, pretty much for China and the Koreas and Japan, is pretty much the same. The cold Arctic air still builds in Mongolia and parts of eastern Siberia, but most of the eastern provinces of China remain either normal or actually above normal in this 10 to 14-day forecast. The exception being next Tuesday and possibly Wednesday and to Thursday. We'll look to see if this pattern will break down more cold Arctic air or whether or not we're looking at simply just more of the same. So again, to recap right now, natural gas prices are trading at 3,806, down 14.2 cents. Let us know your thoughts. Please hit that like and subscribe button below. Thanks for listening. We'll see you soon.